Hello viewers, welcome to another episode of The Jewel Talk. I'm your host Mohammed Hassan. Today we're diving into a fascinating conversation that speaks directly into every young woman that ever asks herself the question, can I ever make a difference? So whether you're a young woman, a student, a housewife, or an aspiring change maker, or even someone who felt lost, this episode is for you. Our guest today is someone who walked the very road many young women are standing on right now. He is a personal development coach, a passionate and an advocate for girls' inclusion in leadership, and a TEDx speaker, whose voice continues to inspire transformation across Northern Nigeria and beyond. She's not just talking about change, she's living it. Through her coaching, mentorship, and mentoring, she helps young women unlock their potentials and find confidence in spaces where they never really thought they belonged. Meet our guest for today, Sophia Ibrahim. Can you introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, my name is Sophia Abubakar Ibrahim, and thank you so much for that really colorful introduction. He was speaking and I was wondering, who is he talking about? But yes, you've basically given a good background as to what I do. I'm a personal development coach, and I mentor young girls and women. And from the looks of it, I might even start for the men as well. Who knows? And yes, I have a communications background, a vast experience in the broadcasting industry, media and broadcast industry. I'm a public relations consultant, but most especially what I do for passion, what I do for life, I would say for a living, is definitely trying to see how our young girls and women live a purposeful life. So yes, as you said, housewife, you're just trying to find your way, youth, you're trying to just make understanding of what the world requires of you, what you require from yourself. And I'm the person to me, I guess.
So can you tell us about the moment you first realized that you want to be a coach and purposely an advocate for girls?
So I don't think I came to a realization that I wanted to be a coach. In fact, when people say I'm a coach, I'm like, I don't think I'm a coach. I just see myself as a person who wants to help someone find their way. And I think the moment I would say I realized that was when I had a lot of people come up to me, sometimes I do a lot of speaking engagements, people call me and say, we want to hear you, you motivate people, so we want to listen to you, want to hear what you can contribute. So I do a lot of speaking engagements. And a lot of young women and girls will come up to me and say, please, I need you to do this for me. I need you to, help me out. I'm trying to figure this out. And I said, okay, fine. Send me a message. And that's how it started. It was never really planned.
Okay, you never really planned that I want to be a coach. I want to start.
Absolutely not. I think anyone who is going to tell you that they're a coach in the true sense of the way, if you want to really actually say I'm a coach, you never actually plan for it. It just falls onto you because people look up to you and just want you to be the person who will put them. Yeah, and then automatically everybody start calling you a coach, and so if that's the term they use, why not? Yeah.
So, can you give us one story? Sometimes where you feel down and can I keep doing this? What moments that make you feel okay, I'm not motivated to do this. I'm not that confident to do it anymore.
Absolutely. Funny enough, in fact, this morning when I woke up, I had that same feeling. I had that same, what am I doing? I mean, maybe people are going to see through this. Maybe it's all a facade. Maybe it's just you trying to put up a face on a wall, to something that you're not even perfectly there yourself. And that's the thing about personal development. It is not something that somebody instills in you. It's a process. It's a journey. It's not something that you wake up and you're like, oh my God, I have it all figured out. So even a coach doesn't have it figured out. I woke up this morning and the kids were doing what they do every Saturday morning, making noise and everything. They don't ever disturb me in my Saturday mornings. I come out when I'm ready to come out. But I woke up today and I told myself, I'm tired. Like these people see you as the strong one. You're the one people come to. You don't have a choice to go to people. Yeah, you do if you have your own mentors and you look up to people and you want to lean on them. But then you feel the weight of other people's issues on you, and you keep wondering, do you want to continue doing that when yourself you're not really in tune with who you are? But then, as I said, personal development is not about having everything figured out. It's about taking it step by step and figuring yourself out first so that you can actually help others also figure themselves out.
So usually it's not about, I'm always that perfect, I'm always that okay, the man that I'm also looking up to also suffers from maybe that imposter syndrome.
Yes, imposter syndrome.
Yeah, so do you have maybe a failure, one moment that made you realize, this is maybe a way I should change around, or made you change the course of maybe your entire career?
Absolutely. We always have moments where you doubt whatever course you're taking. And I think it was 2017. I had just decided to quit my 2017, about that time. I decided to quit my full-time job. 8 to 5. I said I wasn't doing this anymore. It just wasn't fitting into there was just no purpose to it. I wake up in the morning, tired, exhausted, go to work, come back in the evening, tired, exhausted, wake up the next day, do the same thing again. And
you don't do your passion.
There was nothing there. And I thought to myself, okay, I've always wanted to do broadcasts. I've always wanted to do media. I've done it all my entire life since I was a child. And now I am leaving this entire thing on to do. What do I want to do next? There was no journey. There's a career path. Everything was just uncertainty. And I told myself, you know what? If you're going to find out who you really are and what you really want to do or become in life, you can't do it afraid. But at the same time, you need fear to propel you.
Sometimes you need that.
Exactly. So my fear, it's not based on I can't do it. It is that what if I don't do it?
That would be the result of not doing it.
That would be the result of not doing it. So sometimes it's not about letting fear determine you not doing something. It's about letting the fear push you to doing it so that you can get it out of the way and say, you know what, I did it, I failed. So what? Now on to the next.
I failed this thing, I'm going to do it and get away with it.
Absolutely.
Do you have some certain routines or habits at the moment you build down, which it is as you already say, you do have your own down moments as well.
Yeah.
If you also have your own down moments, do you have some habits or routines that you usually used to follow through?
Okay, so the routines for me personally, I would say first things first. You wake up and you say your prayers, right? Because that is the anchor for the remaining day. And the moment you don't do that, something just falls apart. Automatically, something falls apart throughout the day. That's the first. But then recently, I found a routine that worked for me. I am not an exercise person. I don't do gyms. I don't do walks. I don't run. If you call exercise, I go in the opposite direction. But I tried it. Just this month, in fact, I tried it. I said, I'm going to wake up in the morning right after my morning prayers. I'm going to go for a walk, 10 minutes. And I found that 10 minutes walk that I did every single morning, and I have not broken any single streak since I started last month, 2nd October I started, has actually made me realize that 10 minutes I have to myself, early morning, no one on the street, just me, myself, my walking shoes, me and my thoughts. I found that routine was what kept me grounded, to the point that if I wake up in the morning and I don't go for my walks, things fall apart. Just like that, naturally.
You feel like the day isn't complete.
The day is not complete. Absolutely.
So now, like, you kind of like reflect back on your achievements and what you've gone through in your life. Like, if you go back, like the challenges you face, the achievements and everything, what you did, what you didn't do back then. If you can like go back in time, what advice would you like to go back and give to yourself?
I'm the kind of person that don't believe on just doing the whole rewind yourself and think of what would have happened or what advice. Reason being, I believe every single thing that happened so that I can be here. You've watched The Matrix. Have you watched the movie The Matrix? Okay. So you tend to think that if I could go back in time and change something or do something differently, then the outcome would have been different. But I don't think life works like that. Every single point in time, every single failure was leading me to this particular seat right here today.
Like everything that you do, anything defines you just to be here right now.
Your successes, your failures, your mishaps, every single point in time, whatever it is you did actually defined the purpose for where you are heading to. So looking back, yes, you could reflect. Yes, you can look into it and say, you know what? Yeah, I did that thing and I should have done it that way. But if you did, would you have been here? Then it still raises the question, would I have wanted to go back? Would you want to be here? And that's the question you should ask yourself. Am I where I'm supposed to be? If not, then you start looking back and saying, maybe I should have done something different. But everything that you did in the past got you to the point where you ask two things. First, am I where I'm supposed to be? And second, if I'm not, would the past have changed that? And then that gets you into reflecting as to what to do in the future.
When you maybe growing up in Nigeria, precisely the northern part of Nigeria, where child education, like how do you explain like the value?
You see, education, especially in the Northeast, we've made actually tremendous strides. I mean, if you think 20 years ago, which is not that long, honestly, we're still choosing to send boys to school over girls, But if you think about all the barriers, all the things, all the great things that have been done in the last 20 years, you'd see that a lot of girls and women have been on the forefront. So what does that say about education? That means we've got it wrong, when you think about, young women doing great things. I just read yesterday that there was a girl that was selected to be one of the, I think a candidate for to be an astronomer or something. She's from Ariwa. I forget her name. I read it yesterday and I was like, oh my God.
From Ariwa.
Exactly. How's her name for that matter? And I said, wow, we had a girl that came, I think, was it first or something in a mathathon or something? And, there was an uproar with the government about how, she needed to be awarded and stuff. She's from Ariwa. She's a girl. And, we have the likes of Alhan Islam that's doing us great, pride and justice at the United Nations. She's a girl. She's from Ariwa. So what has that told us about education? The fear we've always had with Ariwa and what our parents always feared was that girls are easily manipulated into leaving or forgetting where they come from, forgetting their culture, forgetting their values. And so we let that fear dictate how we treat girls' education, not thinking that we can let girls actually be and achieve and trust them to uphold their values and their culture, wherever it is they go to. Amina J. Mohammed is a shining example of that. Yeah, some people will argue, she doesn't have the perfect traditional background, and so, she comes from a different typical Ariwa background. But it doesn't matter. What does it even mean to have a typical Ariwa background? Does it mean born, bred, school, lived? Is that what the typical Ariwa? If that is so, we've had a lot of girls that have come from that background, and they're doing great things. I don't think breaking culture, breaking tradition, breaking values is a gender thing. I'm sorry to say, we have men that are doing crazy things and they're being brought up lived school in Ireland, they're breaking the same thing. So it's not gender specific, it's character specific. Raise your girl with the right morals, raise her with the right traditional values, raise her with the right education, give her the tools to succeed in life. Feeling lost is a part of life. I mean, even our Prophet ﷺ was lost at some point, but he always had, an angel guiding him through it. There was always someone, something that you can always fall back to and say, I need help. And so anyone who feels lost, it's fine. What is not fine is for you to stay lost, because then you're not trying to look for your way out. And that is where the problem lies, especially what I find with a lot of the girls in our society, with a lot of the women. You have been told that there's a course that you need to follow. You grow up, you go to school, you get married. It's lined up already for you. Someone already determined that path for you, which is perfectly fine. I have no problem. It's a perfect path. But life, it's not straight. There is no journey that is straight. There's always going to be curves. There's always going to be obstacles. How do you overcome them? Are you even mentally prepared to overcome them? And then do you even have the right tools to overcome them? And then there's also just the fact that you're a human being. Human beings naturally want to be more than what people lay out for them. And every single girl, every single woman has that. Every single man has that. I've not seen a man who has been said, okay, you know what? You're going to go to school, you're going to get a job, you're going to get married, and then it stops there. There is no man that follows that course, because he's always looking for more. He's always trying to challenge himself. But when it comes to the girls, we've told them that the challenge stops at when you get married. And that is not life, because challenges don't stop there.
A beginning of a new life, beginning of a new challenge, beginning of a new barriers to break.
Absolutely. I keep telling myself one of my greatest downfalls is that I'm always looking for a new challenge. And that's what's probably stressing my life out, because I'm always sick, I'm always stressed out. But I find that that is what keeps me going. There's always a new challenge that I want to overcome. Not because I feel like I can do it all, but because I hate being in mediocrity. When I say hate being in mediocrity, what I mean is that I hate being normal, because normal is overrated. You wake up, you go to school, or you go to work, you come back home, you tend to, if you're married, you come back home, tend to the family, do what you're supposed to do. The house is in order, everything. And then you come out and you sit on your balcony and you look into the skies and you're wondering what next. It's the same circle you're going to repeat over and over again. So what are you doing to challenge yourself, to bring excitement into your life? New things. And I think that also happens between couples and marriages. The man is out there looking for purpose and challenges. The woman is stuck without any purpose or challenge. And then there's that friction of, you're moving ahead from me and you're not here, you don't have my time anymore. And that is because he's looking for new challenges and you're still waiting.
How do you help your mentees build resilience, mostly after they have maybe a trauma or rejection? In fact, community pressure, especially in this community.
Yeah, so honestly, our community can be very tough on anybody trying to go through anything. And I think it's just life generally, the way life has turned out to be. A lot of times when you're going through something, you still have to wake up and live life. And that is difficult, because you just want to curl up in bed and cry and, just take everything in and try and bounce back. So when I get, some of the mentees and they're going through one thing or the other, and I say, what? If you need 10 minutes to yourself, take it. We all have 24 hours. We all get the same 24 hours. It is what you do with those 24 hours that matters. So you're going through something and you need to do life. Take out the things that are not priority and give yourself that time to just breathe. I always say cry if you have to cry. Because sometimes they tell you not to cry, suck it up. It's time for you to move on. The kids are going to go to school. Things you have to cook, you have to clean, you have to go to work. Money needs to be, bills need to be paid. And I say, no, take time off. Shut down if you have to. But what you shouldn't do is to continue to be shut down. So take that 10 minutes, walk it out if you have to, get whatever motivational talks you need to get to, and then get up and go ahead and do it. But that doesn't negate the fact that you're going through something. We don't have time to breathe. The moment you're feeling, your mom tells you, and you're wondering, okay, it means I have to suck it up and get going. But no. And you have to also understand that sometimes our parents don't know better. We have to give them the slack. We are in a generation where we now know what mental health means. Our parents didn't really think much about it. You could even say mental health without you being sent to one, Malam to go and do Rukia for you or something like that. Because mental health has to be gins. There is no such thing as you getting depressed. There's no such thing as you having time out. There is no time out. But we are in a generation where we know all those things actually shape the kind of who we become in life. So that's different. So when I do have my mentees come and I said, okay, is this thing going to stop you from doing the normal activities that you're going to do today? No, I think I need 5 minutes. I said, okay, fine, 5 minutes. Do you need me to stay on the phone for 5 minutes? Yes. I said, okay, cry it out. They cry. I say, you're done crying? I'm like, okay, then move on. So it's about even just having someone there to listen. Yes, somewhere there to just. I remember there, and I can't speak about some of the situations I've been in, but I would say that there was once that she wasn't even my mentee at all. I haven't even had any contact. We've met once or twice, and she calls me and she said, "Auntie Sophia, I want to cry." And I said, "Cry." She said, "You're not going to ask me why?" I said, "No, it's not my place to. You called me. You said you wanted to cry." I said, "Cry."
Having that someone to listen to you actually really matters. Someone to actually.
And she cried. She cried for, I think, 10 minutes. And my recharge card ended, her recharge card ended because she called me. And I called her back. And she said, "Why'd you call back?" And I said, "You're not done crying." And she laughed. And she said, "You made me laugh." And I said, you weren't done crying, so continue crying. And when she was done, she said, "I didn't know I needed to cry." And I said, "Maybe that was all you needed." I used to agree to ask me why I'm crying. I said, "No, it's not my place. When you're ready to tell me, you tell me." Sometimes that's all we need. Sometimes it's just a hug. I mean, I ask a lot of my mentees, when was the last time you told your mom you loved her? And all of them just started laughing, like, "Mama, ina son ki." And it sounded weird to their ear. And I said, "But no, did you attempt?" I'm sure she's not going to answer. She's going to probably go wash the dishes. That's her way of saying, "I love you" back. But
sometimes I don't need to utter it out.
Sometimes it's not about uttering it out.
About how you advise girls especially to set goals that is realistic and also within their context of their own understanding, their own backgrounds, and just within their context.
Yeah. So first and foremost, what we do is I ensure that she even understands what it is she wants. Because a lot of the times when I sit down with the ladies, with the girls, and I ask them, "What do you want?" Because that's one of the questions that a lot of people, you don't even ask yourself. What do you want? Because when you're confronted with that question, it now opens up a whole can of, "Oh my God, I don't even know what it is I want." Because again, everything was laid out for you. You were not participant in the laying out of the foundation of what it is you wanted to do with your life. So now I am confronting them with, what is it you want? And most oftentimes I hear other people speak through them. What I mean is that I hear them saying, "Oh, my dad wants me to get married. Oh, I'm supposed to finish my school. Oh, I'm supposed to," so you hear that same foundation that they were instilled in, but you don't hear their own voice coming out. What they actually do want.
Something that someone.
Exactly. Definitely ask them what they want. What do they want to do with their life? Not what other people have told them to do with their life, within the realistic, of course, context of their environment, their family, whatever situation it is they're going to. And oftentimes, what I find is that they keep talking about what other people want, or what they think other people will want them to do. Oh, na so umfara kasuanchi. Like, okay, kasuanchi is broad. What exactly do you have passion for? Hey, I'm like, is that what you want, or is that what your friend wanted?
Like doing something that someone is doing.
Yeah. Because we always like to follow blueprints. We always like to follow what other people have done. No one is actually trying to do something nobody else has done, or what you feel you should do for yourself. It's easier for them to say, I know kaza. Yeah, imagine she's doing good in it, so
you are successful in it, so everyone will step in one and build in.
Will also be successful. So when I tell people to set realistic goals, when I tell the girls to, I say, the first thing I ask is that, is this something that you, if I asked you, Mariam, if you did this thing, would it bring you purpose? And purpose is not just about, feeling happy. It's not just about, doing what other people said. It's about, would it fill a hole? Only you know what that hole is in your life. Will it fill that hole? And if the answer is no, and you're not unsure, then that thing is not for you. That's not what you want. So realistic goals, yes, but they have to define who you are. And if you don't know who you are, I can't even help you. No one can actually help you. You need to figure out who you are first before you can even know what you want, and then of course follow purpose.
So when dealing with your mentees, what is the one common thing that almost every girl or every woman come to usually do face? Like, is it the barrier, the family barrier, maybe within maybe the community, maybe what religion they are in, and usually what can you advise? What is that?
One common thing, and I'll say it now for sure across board, every single one of them, I'm not even going to say there's one person, one single thing is confidence. I was actually surprised that I thought it would be, cultural barrier, family saying you can't do something. No, it wasn't. It was
even tradition.
It wasn't even that. Because so it's a good thing, because it means Gombe generally that means we don't have that problem. The problem we might have when it comes to culture, and that is that, maybe other people looking to you and saying, you're not supposed to. But the one common issue that I get with each one of them is confidence. Second, speaking up. So there's confidence, and then there's speaking up. And then they start to think about, okay, the cultural and the traditional values.
You have to first get the confidence to speak up.
Exactly, before you can now challenge whatever. Because you already know those barriers are there. You already know that, there will be people within your family, within the community that will say, Bikamataba. And it's not that Bikamata Kiyo, it's not that it's haram, it's not that it's against the culture, it's not that it's against the tradition. It's just because it is not done that way, so people expect that you shouldn't do it.
No. It's not according to what they think
it should be done. So most of the ladies are like, I want to do this, amma lai ina tsoron, mutane za su ci. Anguwa za su ci. And I asked them the first thing, ya saba ma addinin first? No. Is it going against your culture, tradition? No. Those people, did they try what you're doing and failed, and maybe there's a reason they say no? So what's the problem? Then you realize it's confidence, it's speaking up. So when you work on the confidence, you work on them trying to now speak up respectfully to whatever challenges they're facing, everything else just falls apart. And then they go on to be the same people who help those same community to see things differently. And that is what personal development is about. It's about sorting yourself first out, then trying to see how you can use that to help other people within your community. Because if you want to make something change, if you want to make people see things in a different light, you can't do that when you haven't even built your own capacity to do it in the first place.
Not confident of what to say or what to do.
What to do.
Influence others.
You can't. Exactly.
All right. So, and now for young women and the lab guys, the entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
currently listeners right now, like, what is one single action advice would you give them? Like, something they should do within the next 24 hours or the next 48 hours. What action they should take in order to like overcome all these challenges they're facing.
Okay. So I won't say there's one thing they will do in the next 24 hours that would help because it takes time. But if there's something that I'm going to ask them to do in the next 24 hours to just help them start that journey, it would definitely be take 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. Stop what you're doing, whatever it is you're doing. Sit down and ask yourself, who am I? And write like 5 things about yourself. What you think, who you think you are. Who am I? What do I want? 5 things. Where do I see myself after this 5 minutes that I've given myself? And then where do I see myself next year? So that's about what? Who am I? That's one, right? Sorry, I totally lost my train of thought right there.
What do you want?
Who am I? What do I want? What do I want after this 5 minutes when I'm done? What do I want? Where do I see myself next year? Write like 5 different things for each of those categories. And by the time you're done that 5 to 10 minutes exercise, you're going to have a paper or a book of things that you're confronted of yourself. And then it's going to start spiraling you to start thinking about what it is you should be doing, how I should be going about it. And then when you do that, try and look for the people that can help you try and sift through the noise. Because then you're going to have to start prioritizing which one I'm going to do first. Who am I going to be next? After this 5 minutes, am I going to go back to my routine? Or those questions going to keep haunting me? Because if those questions don't haunt you, by the time you're done this exercise, then you're stuck. And you're just going
to have to keep on coming back.
Have to keep coming.
Incredible and deeply inspiring conversation this week. Thank you, Sophia, for opening your heart and sharing not just your story, but your lesson and hope for every girl listening. You might be small, you might be scared, but one thing you need to put in your mind is that anyway, the journey has value and your dream has purpose. Follow Jewel Talk for more inspiring conversation. And let's keep building Northern Nigeria where every girl leads with purpose.